and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast, where we explore how technology, AI, and cybersecurity are reshaping the way we work. This segment of our tour, we are back at it again, live in London, interviewing top IT leaders. Each episode, we're going to bring you insights from real leaders and industry experts on how organizations can navigate today's challenges and unlock tomorrow's opportunities. From making sense of complex data, to simplifying IT environments, to delivering real business outcomes, Lenovo is helping businesses of every size reimagine what's possible. Join us as we dive into the future of work. Work Reborn. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast, live in London. Today, I'm joined with my friend Richard. Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Richard. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. If you don't mind, for those who don't know you, would you mind introducing yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Richard Meeus. I am the Director of Security, Technology and Strategy for Akamai in EMEA. It's a very long-winded way of saying I talk about security a lot. We have a broad spread of products at Akamai, and I talk to our customers and our partners about how we can use our security solutions to enable our businesses and protect them going into the future.
So you're just the right person to have on the show. We have just recently conducted another installment of research where we interviewed over 600 senior IT leaders about security, AI, cybersecurity, all the things tech, right? And we have found that there has been a lot of excitement about the AI. Many leaders don't really feel like they have a handle yet on the internal AI risks within the organization. They struggle with the unpredictability of external threats like cyber criminals or shadow AI use. In your opinion, what does this tell us about where organizations might be overestimating their readiness and excitement?
Yeah, I think AI is definitely a victim of a lot of hype and a lot of maybe over expectation about what it can do. There's aspects there which should be of concern. There's aspects where there's a little bit of a sort of over egging in the custard sort of thing. I think where organizations really need to be focused on in terms of especially the external threats is how AI is being used from an attacker's perspective, and also how they can protect their externally facing AI infrastructure, such as chatbots and things like that. So, for example, we see in terms of how AI is being used by attackers, there's a lot of threat groups now that are beginning to leverage it for phishing emails and deepfakes, but we've had those for a while anyway. So most organizations should have the tools in place to protect against those phishing emails. They're going to get better, but users are still going to click because users are going to click. That's what's going to happen. But we are finding them getting more advanced. So they're developing ransomware using AI. There's one group that actually uses their own chatbot to do the ransomware negotiations for them. So they're fully...
That's a whole other level.
Exactly, yeah. So they just basically push all the responsibility onto the AI. But yeah, we know how good AI is in a lot of things, but we also know that, if you Google vibe coding errors, you'll realize that it's not going to be perfect at everything. And I think this is what's going to happen with a lot of those AI risks, is that, especially with the AI coding and the AI generated attacks, is it is going to create more volume. It's democratizing the ability to do attacks. It's making it a lot easier. You no longer need years of experience doing reconnaissance, understanding vulnerabilities, being able to dissect what that means and trying to figure out how to weaponize that attack. AI will figure it out for you.
So you're saying that almost it's not just that the threats are increasing, but the barrier to entry to other people, with maybe malicious intent to execute those attacks are increasing as well?
Absolutely. The barrier to entry has basically gone through the floor. So before you needed
There's no entry, it's a floor.
Exactly.
Okay.
You just walk straight in. And because of that, it's allowed a lot more people to start getting involved with that. It's not necessarily going to say that it's going to be any novel techniques or new attack vectors, but what it is going to do is create a lot more volume. There's going to be so the chances of you being impacted is just going to go up, just because the intensity of the attacks is going to increase.
I think that, while the volume may go up and, there's the negative side of it. There's also a positive side as well.
Absolutely.
What do you think the positive side for organizations that embrace it and put the proper protocols in place could be?
Well, from a security perspective, I think there's a couple of aspects here. One is that obviously in security, we are really good at creating humongous amounts of data.
Right.
So we have those terabytes, petabytes of logs, which are a nightmare to actually utilize. What you can do with Gen AI is what it's designed to do is summarize data at scale. So putting Gen AI into those logs is a really good asset because it allows us to find those anomalies, those things that we couldn't spot before. So I think that's one of the definite benefits of it. Obviously, outside of security, we use Gen AI in chatbots, for example, in front of our customer service agents to take that burden off them, move away from the very basic hierarchical customer service tree questions that we had that meant you always end up speaking to a customer service agent anyway.
Right.
Now we can use AI in front of that and you can have a natural language conversation and hopefully you'll get the answer without having to be referred to a customer agent.
Right.
Which is great for the business. It can also be abused by the attackers because a computer-generated customer AI agent, that can be socially engineered.
Right.
And because it can be socially engineered, they can get gift tokens, they can pull out codes, they can pull out user data, PII data, unless you put the controls on that. And then the inherent LLMs have a bit of safeguards around that, but it's very hard to quantify. And you'll need to put the tools in place to be able to really sort of put the rigor around that.
I never really thought about the use case of what you're saying, which is the chatbots evolving and people just maybe jumping on it and to do it without considering, well, that opens up another potential risk there
Yeah,
too.
well, there was I was just in a session here at Gartner, and one of the Gartner analysts was doing a presentation and referenced a relatively known case from a while ago of a Chevrolet who was selling a Chevy Tahoe for $1 through the chatbot because the chatbot made the error. It was
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah.
What do you think, in maybe a minute or less, what do you think the future of work looks like if positively, innovated and taken seriously, like in the workplace itself? Like, what do you think bringing new life to our workplace could be?
That's a really good question. I think the way that AI is going to be impacting us, I think is if it's used in the right way, with the right constraints, with the right sort of biases removed, I think it can be a great benefit to enable us as a tool to help us be more creative, as a tool to help us get more ideas and produce more engaging content, more actionable content, more stuff that can be done more effectively, more quickly, and provide more value. But we have to get it right. It's so easy to get it wrong.
Very well said, Richard. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time that you've taken with me today to give your expertise and speak on these topics. If anyone is interested in learning more about the Work Reborn research, make sure you check out the report by downloading it via the QR code on the screen, or if you're listening to the podcast, check it out and download it via the link in the show notes. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. It's been great.
Thank you for listening to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. To learn more about how Lenovo is helping organizations transform with AI, cybersecurity, and smarter IT solutions, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment with any other questions that you would like us to discuss on our next episodes. See you next time.
Lenovo.